She used to dance, but she went alone and started a business. Her daddy is not around. Her mama is not.
Black daughter rebel, man. Like, you know, when you say technique, man, say L's, man. That's my dude, man. I'm holding him down. Like, he bringing a whole nother like twist to this West Coast rap. You know what I'm saying? It's not just dude is really into music, homie, and that's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? I listen to everybody, so I'm not gonna pigeonhole my style. You got to turn off the radio joint right now. It's like, it's crazy, man, and it's really saying something. So, you know, a lot of people feeling that the streets been taken to it real cool. Is actually they just played it on K-Day, and that's crazy. I mean, that's the first time ever that I've known somebody to do a song called "Turn Off the Radio" and the radio play it. So, yeah, much shout out to Julio G, man. He showed love on that. So, you gotta keep requesting that track, man. Let's really put the real out there.
I done touched the little bag, now I'm back up in the booth. Assault sniper rifle, back up on the roof off my hiatus. Had to catch up on the truth, hop right back in my lane. Catch up with the coupe, haters drop banana peels trying to stop my swoop. Put them racks in my pocket, no Balenciaga boots, I'm in these Cortez. Giving zero fucks, my OGs touch the mill and chucks. For that grind, that paper's mine, baby, give it up. Secure the queen, baby, live it up. I promise. Long Beach finest, black Asian, Samoans in the highness, rewinders, beach wavy. In my jeans, Calvin Kleiners, Les Calvin Brodus in a Lotus. Rip the doors off that bitch, knocking Otis to remind us we more number 7 from the Niners. Take a knee, they wanna take T. Out the majors to the minors, J and B. Moriana, how we run this town. Underground like the miners. Get your mind right, get your dome. Back and shake like the liners. Don't lose your edge. First they turn bitch, then they use the feds. These devils want a dealer's death or debt. Lil niggas sell they whole soul for just a check. Self-hate while we look like God. Know we winning when we see you and it look like odd. Know I'm grinning when I see you, no homo. Just take the flick. Black Jesus in the photo, Cadillac squeeze to a Lolo, squatting 520s, armor all up, riding dirty, 3-wheeling all in slow-mo, oh no, West Coast, dripping Jerry curl juice, 4 fingers 2 twisted to a double deuce. Then I turn 2 L's to a W, might burn like 3 L's on a red-eye flight, upon return of the Jedi Knight. Laser beam vision, haters dead on sight. Guillotine pit bull, take his head off right. Iron Man, the Iron Man, Tony Stark. These rappers is all bark. I'm all gas, no brakes, they all park. Not a speck on my name, they all marks. Born in the beach, raised by all sharks. Hard, miss me with the BS, I'm raw. Only fear Allah, praying to the ES. May he obsolete my opposition, spray him. Play him like a PS, AM to the PM to the AM, homie, we fresh. Dressed like $1 million bucks, hopped out the Monte Carlo with the all blue guts. Salute the block rebels like y'all too much. Please haters get out your feelings, y'all too touch. Only here for the purse, came through in the clutch. 2 Dookie gold ropes, jumping like double dutch, I'm dope. Keep it 100, a double up, a buck 10-10, 60-40, a knuckle up. 4-leaf clover, 3-ring circus, your luck is up, clown. Where was technique? Frozen in time like a bust down. Now in beast mode on 24s. Touchdown, nation. Now we back wet. Chaka Zulu warrior. He Aztec. Game time. Next time he ride the pond, it'll be casket. I ain't finished with they ass yet. Command post. We have threat. I have come to collect like we had bet. Technique. Spell my name right.
Good evening and welcome to the Poetry of Justice show with Jackie Ray Phillips here on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Here on the Poetry of Justice show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying,
YikesRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the sultry sounds of my mentor, the Mr. Kevin Nash. Mr. Kevin Nash is the owner of this proprietorship here at Accelerated Radio. And if it weren't out for Kevin Nash and his dream child, it would be impossible for me to do what I so love to do here on Saturday nights on the Poetry of Justice show, yikesradio.com. So I love Kevin Nash, and so we just always give him further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to give a very special shout out to this queen in the house tonight, my sister, Lori G, the benefactor, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing tonight, sissy?
I'm doing great.
That's right.
So excited to be here with all this royalty.
Right?
It's amazing.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori G is the president of Gingy Productions and Entertainment Company, a sponsor here of the Poetry of Justice show, ladies and gentlemen. And then I'd like to give a very special shout out to G Babies Catering LLC, ladies and gentlemen. That is for my nephew, Chef Macario. I want you to check him out on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. GBABBIES LLC Catering, ladies and gentlemen. And then once we talk more about this amazing sponsorship here, I got to put a new interjection here, ladies and gentlemen. A shout out to none other than the Lord Rocca, the legendary King Lord Rocca, ladies and gentlemen. He is in the house tonight. You know, I just can't do it without him no more. It just is what it is. You know, that's that real deal Holyfield. But I'm going to go ahead and give a very special shout out to none other than who we call here, ladies and gentlemen, the man of steel. That is WMPJ Steelworks Incorporated, ladies and gentlemen. That's the gentleman that did that sky slide downtown LA, ladies and gentlemen. So we always give him support and shout out. And lastly, on that sponsorship, but we got these Queendom divas tonight, so we don't know what we're going to be adding on to here. But I'd like to give a very special shout out to APS Muscle Cars, ladies and gentlemen. He's got some really exciting things going on in Signal Hill, California. We might do a little bit of clip tonight. I'll let you ladies see about that entrepreneurship, but this is all about you queens tonight here on the Poetry of Justice show. Jackie Ray Phillips, yikesradio.com and acceleratedradio.net. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give a very special shout out and love to my amazing sister, Lori G.
Oh. Well, hello, everybody. So happy to be here. I took last week off, and I missed you all so much, Rashid, Lord Rocca, my sister. So I'm glad to be back. And boy, what did I come back to? I tell you, Jackie and Lord Rocca was just on point while I was gone. They were doing their homework. Such an amazing show for tonight, guys.
I know, it's going to be insane in the membrane. I don't even know where to start, so I'm going to just dive into the pool. I have a litany of queendoms in the house tonight. So what we said we was going to name this show, Rashid said, what we going to name it, Rashid?
I believe it was Queendom. Entrepreneurs Rock.
That's right. These are beautiful black queens, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful soul sisters. I just said black queens because we're beautiful black queens. And if I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. And if I offended anyone, then I'm sorry. But we are queens and we're gorgeous. And we've got that melanin. How about that? The melanin ladies in the house tonight. And so we're just going to have some fun. These women are, I'm talking about individuals that have, man, this one right here, she scared me. That's why I had to put her over here, because this one here has been all over the world. She has gone from being, I can't remember what war she was a part of, but I know she knows a lot about ammunition. She's been in the Marine Corps. She will cut your head off. She knows how to do it, like legit.
She wanted an accommodation.
She wanted an accommodation for effing people up. That's what she did.
That's what she did.
This one right
this
here.
This little bitty one right here.
Yeah. Hold on. That's my little sis right now. We done adopted her, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what we're talking about. And then this woman has written a play, right? And she's gone on and she's won awards for those plays. And she's an actress and she's a mother. And she has held so many titles, I can't even, talk about them all. But I just wanted to start there with us, ladies and gentlemen, only because out of respect. Because this queen came with us about 2 weeks ago. And the show, basically, the car, it just got really screwed up and she got detoured and it was like she almost missed the show. So I just wanted to give that respect to our queen, and I thank you ladies for being kind enough to allow us to do that liberty, because we are all beautiful queens tonight. So I'm going to turn my camera on around. And ladies and gentlemen, just so you ladies can get an idea of what Sissy and I put together here for us, Lord Rocca support, and and hear the amazing Rashid. So what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be on our Facebook Live, which we are doing now. We're going to be streaming on our YouTube Live, and we are also going to be on accelerateradio.net Live, and we're also on yikesradio.com Live, and then we're also on Instagram Live. So we're giving 5 live streams that we're doing right now simultaneously, and that's over 111 countries guaranteed through Accelerated Radio. This is forever archived. It's never going to go away. And so I'm going to give you ladies some audios of it and stuff like that. Everywhere you see all that on that sign over there, Accelerated Radio, Google Play, iHeart, you name it, Apple, iTunes, wherever a podcast is located, you're going to find us, and you're going to find our show, and people will be forever archived with these queens tonight. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and just be a little bit of old school, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give the mic to Miss Amber. Is that all right? Amber came with us first tonight, and so she was very patient, and so I just really appreciate you. She heard all the behind-the-scenes stuff, Nene and Felicia, that y'all didn't need to hear. So she heard all the little kabuffles. So I appreciate you, Queen. And so, like I say, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please let us know all about what you have going on, Miss Ashley Amber.
Well, first, thank you guys.
You can pull the mic to you. Bring it to you for now, and then Felicia's going to take it back when it's her turn.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 33 years old, been in LA for 10 years as of August.
Right.
Working makeup artist and hospitality on the side.
Okay.
And now a new venture of modeling has come my way. Booked a few gigs. I'm really excited about that. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I went to Howard University, class of 2010, came out here, got my master's, and just really fell in love with being a creative.
Right.
The spirit and the vibe of the people here, doing non-traditional work, and really just embracing the freedom of not being stuck to a desk has been really addicting for me. So I'm looking into branching off and just keeping my heart open, keeping my mind open, and just continuing my makeup, which I still really love. But I'm open, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to get into some exciting things. Oh my God. And then as I go, I've just got Nene over here. Nene's right in the cut. Felicia, don't even get it twisted, because you already know, Felicia. You already know, because we got a lot of footage, Felicia, but we got you covered, Queen. But what's up, Miss Nene? How you doing tonight, Queen?
Hi, I'm fine.
The Soap Bakery LLC, right?
Yes.
Homemade soap.
Yes. So, hello, I would like to thank everyone for having me.
Of course, Queen.
And yes, I'm from here, from California, from Los Angeles, and I was born and raised on a hustler mentality. It just come natural with my family.
Yes.
I always kept 2 jobs and overworked myself, and I just felt like when the pandemic hit, and by me having to stay at home with my kids, I grew to work from home.
Okay.
And once I started that, I got addicted to it, and I figured if I can make my own income and do it myself, I just invested into myself and just trying to build my brand, make it bigger. And I'm also a resource parent. I'm going into foster care because I really love kids. So yeah, I'm just looking for a future of entrepreneurship. I don't plan on ever going back to work for no one, because I feel like those hours can be put into myself.
I love it.
I do.
Right.
And let the church say amen.
Preach, 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 preach. Queen Felicia, how are you doing tonight? Miss Felicia Dillon, ladies and gentlemen, talent agency owner. I'm say it again. Talent agency owner.
Thank you. I'm doing great tonight. I'm so happy to be here. I'm a former actress. I was on TV shows where I played a teenager at 30 years old, like Glee. My son wanted to get into acting. I wasn't really enjoying it. I more so enjoyed booking kids. So when the pandemic hit, my son was about 17, and that's when I decided to make creative talent artists. All my friends and all my associates were like, you would be a great talent agent. You love kids, you care about kids. There's no black talent agents that are women. And that was definitely That was definitely my goal. Like, okay, it's a pandemic, you're not doing anything else, your work has completely stopped, you love putting kids on set, and you just love kids in general. So I just went, got my license, got bonded with the state of California, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Yes. My gosh, so look at that. I'm talking about some of the creations, Lori. What do you think that came out of COVID? You got some technical stuff going on? Sister?
I do.
Okay, it's totally fine.
I'm so sorry I was not paying very close attention.
What do you have going on with this? I'm just going to switch on over here.
Well,
Back
Chloe
on over
can't
to
hear, so we're working on that. We don't know why she can't hear. So we have her take her earphones off for right now.
Okay. Are they working now?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear.
Oh, yeah, she
can hear
can.
now.
Let there be a hearing. All right. How are you doing tonight, Queen Chloe?
I'm well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what do you have going on right now on the docket? Let everybody know. I know I told a little tad, but
I have, so a film that I just directed is in post-production. So hopefully by the end of the year we can premiere it.
Of course.
Here. And I'm also writing a movie for some influencer who's a comedian or prankster kind of thing. And also writing 2 TV shows that I want to pitch to BET or actually anybody.
Yeah.
Whoever needs content and will let me through the door, I'm going to pitch to.
Queen,
So,
that's a queen mentality.
yeah, that's what I got.
Again, the ammunition specialist, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here live. So I'm trying to think, you're going to get it either way, one way or the other. Lori G.
Absolutely.
Lori G, I know you had a list of questions that you wanted to begin to share, so I'm not going to be a mic hog. I'm going to share.
I know. First, let's just say I have earphones. I can hear. Isn't that lovely? Yay, Lori.
You go, Glen Coco.
Watch out now. Yes. Well, I've just been inspired hearing your introductions and your paths and your journeys. And a theme that I heard was embracing freedom,
Yes.
right? And that was a part of your motivation for you to take that journey. And I'm a nosy person by nature. I don't know if I've shared that with all of you, but I'm really interested in, do you remember that moment when you said, you know what, I'm not going to be working 2 jobs anymore? What were those inspirational moments that said, I'm signing up for financial freedom? And the reason I want you to share those things in whatever detail you feel comfortable in sharing, because there's someone listening to us, whether they're in Inglewood, they're in Compton, they're in India, they're in Morocco, they're in London, that needs that push. They need to hear that story, that real live people like you beautiful queens can also experience that financial freedom, right? So why don't you start for us, Felicia, and let us know, what was that moment?
Okay, for me, the moment was very clear. I was working at LAX Airport. I was 27 years old. I was one of the very few bartenders that's like bilingual, well, trilingual. So I speak Spanish, I understand sign language. So my boss told me I could have Christmas off because all my coworkers were Latinas and they celebrate Christmas on the 24th. I celebrate Christmas on the 25th. They told me that I could have Christmas off to be with my son. My son was probably 7, 8, and they took it back. They were like, you know what, we need you. You're bilingual, you're the only one. I quit that day, and I've been working for myself ever since. That's 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, I commend your courage to step out and do that, right? And we'll get back to talking about stepping out on that faith. So we won't go there just yet. But we'll move on to Miss Ashley.
Yeah, so for me, I entered a grave depression, a period of about 3 years. I just couldn't get out of the dark. It just felt like, okay, I finished my master's program, I'm supposed to go do it. My master's is in higher education. And after I graduated, I just realized I've only been doing what sounds good on paper from the beginning of time. As much as I loved my Howard experience, I didn't know what I was doing there. I pretty much chose any major that I could. For me, that was TV production. And I hated it. I hated being a PA. I just hated it. The only thing that really sparked my interest in that world was the creative acting of it, and the portrayal of emotions, the makeup artistry, even set design was more interesting. But it was really hard for me to get my foot into the door. And being a PA, I just could not survive off $10 an hour in Los Angeles, California. I don't have the support from anybody to make it. So I did the best I could. I got in hospitality. It's quick money, it's easy money, it's flexibility. I'm still really thankful for that. But it just got to the point where I felt stuck. I felt stuck. I felt like I had wasted time, and I couldn't get out of dwelling on that. And so every day I would wake up, I felt like I only got an hour of sleep. And I couldn't explain to my partner at the time why that was. And I was dating a creative who was very successful. And it was great to see another black person very successful in the entertainment industry, and never really had to see a day of retail or of anything else. So to see that freedom but not knowing where I fit in that world was really tough. I was still very proud of him. I was able to get out of that, and I wasn't jealous of him, but I was to the point where it's like, what does life have to offer? Is it just working and dying? Because I'm so tired.
Say that again.
No,
amen that, lady.
Preach. Like it can't be just about working and dying. I understand, and I'm not saying that I want to be lazy and sleep on the couch, but what I am saying is there's got to be a way, if this person was able to make a way for them to play in the sandbox every day and still be able to eat and still be able to have medical insurance, you know, all of these things. How am I going to have children and not have medical insurance? You know, all these things, all these worries. And then in 2019, I just stopped caring. I was 100 pounds more than I am now. I had turned to weed, just to be honest. It was helping. It's nothing I had ever done before. It really helped.
Yes, it does.
It's helped me to stop worrying. Then I kind of got out of that, got healthy, was ready to go. 2020 came. I ended up leaving that 7-year relationship I was in. And I just said no. I said no to everyone telling me I'm not enough.
Good for you.
You know, my partner at the time, he was a reminder that I wasn't enough. Not on purpose, you know what I'm saying? No shade to him at all, but I got to a point where I was like, I'm either die or I'm just gonna not worry about anything, get closer to God and say that I'm gonna fight everything that's being told to me. I am enough, even if I have no basis off of my enoughness, even if I don't have no experience off what my enoughness is. I'm gonna reject it every single day and choose to live. And ever since then, I started my makeup business, and I started just venturing off into anything, just socializing and getting into anything anybody offered me, whether I felt like I knew what I was doing or not, or whether I felt worthy or not. So faking it to make it is what got me out of it. I'm still doing that today. I'm a little more comfortable though, you know? So yeah.
But you know, Amber, I want to follow up, and Nene, we're gonna get to you, but I just want to intersect. Why is it, ladies, that because we come forward to say, I want fulfillment, there has to be more to life than working and then doing some more work, right?
Right.
Yes.
Then why are we perceived lazy, right?
I think just being a black
why
woman,
is that?
you don't have enough examples of yourself in the fun careers. There's just not enough of us. BET is not enough. You know, that's only one sector of Viacom. So as much as we say we have an example, you know, Beyonce can't be the only one. Music industry in general can't be the only ones. You know, Ava DuVernay can't be the only one. We don't have enough examples of us being able to do it. It shouldn't seem magical. It should seem practical.
Yeah.
And so I don't think anybody should blame themselves for having that mentality, because how else would you know that it is possible? And that goes for black people all over the world. You know what I mean? You don't know until you know. And if you see somebody surviving and thriving even in these really creative industries, then you're like, oh, how did they do that?
Absolutely.
And then once that curiosity sparks, then that's what lights that fire. But until then, you know, this conversation to me is going to help out so many people, because I wish I would have been able to have it 4 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, even going to Howard, it's magical. it's something that, you know, breeds the best of the best in the industry. And I was the only one that graduated that felt like I didn't fit in. Like I was here, but I didn't belong here. That's what it felt like all the way up until after graduation. It took a while for me to get out of that mentality, you know. But yeah, I think that's just really it. Not seeing enough of us doing those cool things.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Which is why I think the POJ show is so very important and so very committed to empowering the community and showing individuals that strength does lie within them. And I think, Amber, your story, and Felicia, your story so far, and I'm sure these other two stories will give individuals permission, right? Because oftentimes as people of color, that is what we need. We need, I think unconsciously, permission that we can not get up, go to work, be a part of a corporation, do your 30 years, and then say, okay, right, job well done, that we can take those risks and step out. So I'm excited. I'm just so inspired by all the courage that is in this room and the fearlessness. Nene, when was the moment you remember that you said
I feel
financial
like
freedom?
It's been my whole life. I feel like all my life I knew, like I grew up thinking like I know that I'm going to be the best. Like I know that I'm here to stand on my throne. I knew that, but I just never knew what it was.
Right.
So it was in the midst of me not knowing what it was. I had responsibilities. I had 4 kids, so I took on going to jobs, going to several jobs, getting more jobs, and working and working and working. And the day I realized that that wasn't for me was the day that I was called in to work, and they were depending on me to do the duties of the higher up. Like, can you help out with this? Can you help out with that? Can you help out with this? And I was telling them, like, you know, I kind of want to just do what I'm here supposed to do. You know, I always help. I always exert myself, and I always go above and beyond. And I'm always like the teacher's pet, or, you know, like I move up the ladder really fast. And once I was going further to like a manager position, but I wasn't getting the pay, and I feel like I wasn't recognized. So I took that as like, you know, if I left this job today, they're just going to replace me. There's not going to be
Nene, what's going to happen?
They're just going to replace me.
Amen. They just
if I die today, there's nothing for my kids or my family for me to leave behind. Nothing, not my legacy, not nothing from me. There's not going to be nothing for them to hold on to, or to say, oh, my mom taught me this, or I didn't want my kids to think that going to work was the way. Right. Even though I was doing that, that's not like the definite way. Like, I had so many creative things in my head, and in order to get them out, I had to stop. And I said, let me focus on what I really want to do. What's my passion? So when I went into making soaps, I would make soaps, and everyone loved them. And the support was there. And then I was into making food. I started being a chef and making plates and things like that. And I just had this pouring of support. Then I realized that it takes that step and that pull out for you to realize how much you have in your hands and what you can do. And during the pandemic, I really focused in on that, and it actually brought me more happiness than working for somebody else. It probably didn't bring in as much income immediately, but me believing in myself and pushing forward, I know that I will come beyond that. Right. So I gave that up, and I told myself I would never go back to working like 10 and 12 hours for somebody else when I can do them same hours for myself. And the outcome is happiness, peace, and then I could actually have something to pass down and look forward to for my kids, my grandkids, and things like that, so they can build too. So yeah, I just had enough, and I told myself, like, I'm not here to just die after working this job. Like,
kind of like what Amber said.
They're just going to replace me, and it's like, no way.
Right. That is very true. That definitely lands on me.
What you mean, Lord G? I'm over here working too hard.
I tell you, I'm working way too hard. But you know, the part that really resonated to me from your story, and ladies weigh in on that, was when you said that you were doing other people's higher up jobs, but not being recognized
Yeah.
for that. How many times?
All the time.
There you go. In your careers, have you felt
Go
that?
above and beyond.
Right? That you're doing everything, and you're not given
Any return.
the recognition or the accolades for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that happens oftentimes, and it's almost like people who are in a certain position almost like look for those people who are like
Exactly.
hardworking, like
Yeah.
oh, she'll do it, and then they just take full advantage.
They take full advantage.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got a little extra on my plate. She'll do it. Right? She'll do it, and that little extra becomes their whole freaking plate before you know it.
Yeah, exactly.
So good for you for saying I'm not doing that.
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm like, no way.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's the American way. There is no job where you're working for anybody else unless it's a very small company, mom and pop shop type situation where that's not the mentality. In a capitalist society, your only job is to do the boss's job while the boss sits home and makes all the money. You know, look at Jeff Bezos. He's sitting here going to space during a pandemic, and his employers don't have health insurance.
This
So
is very true.
that is just the way that it is, unfortunately. And especially if you're black, they feel like you're fortunate to be there. You should be happy.
So too, Amber, I think, I don't know, being the oldest person in the room, I think it's also a mindset.
Yeah.
Right? It's a mindset. And what I've noticed, I feel like I've been working my entire life, but I have a body of history of 30 years of work. And I'm not, I think I've done average for myself, right? I work for a major university, and I'm a dean at that university, right? So that's not too bad. But it seemed in that journey, and even landing at that dean position, every time I got promoted, there was just more work for me. But when my counterparts got promoted,
It was less work.
say it again. There was less work, right? And I could never figure that out. But I think it's also, and I don't want to get too political. People say that, Laura, you just go overboard with the Black Panther movement. But I think it's that trapped mentality that education doesn't necessarily address, right? You're a Howard grad. I'm a USC grad. I'm a first generation graduate, which didn't know a lot of stuff, right? And so even in that 30-year journey, I didn't say, hey, I'm supposed to be able to delegate. Right? I'm not supposed to have to prove myself, right? But I think you said it's the systematic racism, I think, that encodes that in our journeys, right? And they demand that of us. So no matter how high you climb, as you say, Nene, you're never going to get that full recognition for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And even I think about your upbringing. My aunt always say you just got to work hard. The harder you work, the more opportunities you'll have. And now I'm like, no, I know a lot of people that are not working hard, and they are doing way better than
Yeah, right.
They're working smart.
They're working smart.
Versus harder. And then,
Yes.
my mom told me to work hard, but I'm telling my daughter, no.
Work
Work
smart.
smarter.
I'm telling mine, work smart.
And
Work smart, baby.
If you get into a position, like you said, because my aunt is in the same situation as you. She's like, I don't want to take that position because I'm already doing this and that. And it's like, when you get that position, you have every right to say, this is yours. This is yours.
Yes.
This is yours. I'm not doing it.
Right.
You're the boss now. Be the boss. But that mentality has been with her since she was a child. That I have to work harder. I have to work 10 times harder than them. And oftentimes, you do.
We do.
To get to a certain position. But once you hit a certain position, you're going to tell them like it is. And what you going to do? You going to see me out the door? And if that is the case, then bye.
I think it's getting to that point, right? I mean, I think I got to a point in my educational, just my career within an educational institution, to be able to say, okay, I'm always going to work efficiently, right? And that may be through delegation, that may be through policy change, that may through me. Oftentimes, I hit 12, 15-hour days, right? But I think it's paving the way for other individuals to not have to have that same journey. And so that has been my contribution to my career, is that I make opportunity
and create ways so that individuals following me have an easier time to get to where I am, right? And I think that's important with entrepreneurship, isn't it? That you're creating something to leave behind for your children, right? That you're creating a mentality, a mindset that you can pass on to them, that empowerment lives within them.
Right. Exactly.
And that's amazing. You want to tell us your story, beautiful?
Yes, I remember the moment that I said, "To hell with this." It was I was in the Marines. So first of all, I think that mindset started even younger because both of my parents left when I was 3. They were just gone. So my mom's sister raised me. Oh. And so then I felt like I wasn't enough, and maybe I'm not doing enough. And so I started very early on trying to do the most, just to prove to myself, but also other people that I'm good, And then after high school, going to the Marines, where you just do what you're told, but then also your strength and how much you can take is awarded. Like, this one can do the most, she can take just give it to her, And I'm like, thinking I'm doing something when really I'm just being taken advantage of. The people that don't want to do it is just giving it to me. And then I didn't know what the heck to do when I got out of the military, because I was just so used to being given orders and following them. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I was just like, who am I? And had my daughter, and finally thought, I want to act, and moved here. That's why I moved here, to act. And that was hard. That was hard, trying to get some acting gigs to pay for rent in LA. First of all, rent in LA was a culture shock to me. I was like, what? I'm from Texas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rent in LA is something.
I was like, what the heck? I don't have a parking spot. I don't have a
It's not a was, it's a is.
So I got a job at the Department of Children and Family Services, which for me was so fulfilling. Yes. After being in the military and then trying all these, because I did a lot of like temp jobs that just felt like nothing, go shuffle some papers here, go do that. But at the Department of Children and Family Services, I just felt like now I'm again doing, because I felt like when I was in the military, I was doing something that was for the greater good, not just for me. So I was having that feeling again, and it was great. And then I booked a job on Fox, this series regular thing, and I was like, my job was great. They let me go for 2 months to film and come back to my job. It was wonderful. But when I got back to my job, I was sitting in this cubicle, and I was just like, I had a taste of what I really want.
Right.
And this is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
But I stayed because, again, my daughter was probably 5 or 6 at the time. So I'm like, I have to support her. I can't just walk out blindly. This is good. Everybody says, you got the benefits, you got this, you better stay in that job. But I was miserable, and I was sneaking off to auditions all the way in LA, and I worked in Chatsworth.
Oh, wow.
And the anxiety and stress of, is somebody going to realize I'm gone? I did that all the time. And it just, it wore me down. And then I was a clerk there. And the clerks, generally, depending on what department you work in or what unit you work in, usually I have 1 to 2 units that they provide services for. I started off in emergency response, which may seem like a lot, but it wasn't. It was a doable, task. And my supervisor loved me so much. She was like, I'm switching over to this other unit in dependency investigation, and I need you to be my clerk. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not good. Yes, sure. If you need me, I'll go. And so I went, and I only had to do 1 unit. I was like, oh, this is great. But it was way more work. But still doable. Still the work. I understand. Okay, this is why you only give me 1 unit. No problem. I'm going to, because I want to prove. And then one of the clerks from another unit quit. And so they gave me his unit. So I was like, oh, this is a lot. I hope y'all get somebody soon because I'm servicing 14 social workers.
Yeah.
And then another girl quit, and I took her unit, and that was 21 social workers that I had to do. And the social workers got to the point where they were like walking past the printer and the copier to say, "Can you make a copy?"
No.
Oh
wow.
Like, you just
passed
past 3 machines to give me this. Are you serious? And it just like every day it was killing me, and I fell into a depression. Like I was literally crying in the cubicle daily.
Yes.
No exaggeration. I went in there and I couldn't stop it. And a friend of mine called and said he had an opportunity and he wanted people to come up with ideas for this thing. Kevin Hart had, the LOL network. That's when it was like brand new, and he was trying to get a directing gig, but he needed some content. So he and like 10 other friends we all went to his apartment. We pitched ideas. He took it to his meeting. They didn't like half of it. But he called me and said they like your stuff. And I was like, what? So I'm like, shoot, I gotta work. How can I do this? Because they're like, we're ready to film.
Right.
I'm like, oh crap, how am I gonna do this? It was, and this is how God or the universe or whatever you believe in just really will work things out for you. They told me to be at this location at 1 o'clock, which was my lunch hour, and it was 7 minutes away from where I worked.
All right.
So I was able to make that meeting, pitch my own stuff, and meet the producers and everything, and they were like, okay, well, this is our new writer. And I was like, well, just like that? Like, I hadn't written a thing in my life. Wow. I just had the ideas, and they loved it that much. They were just like, here.
Come on.
So I went to the producer and said, I am so grateful for this. I said, but I work a 9 to 5 and I have a kid. And she said, no worries. We'll just shoot on the weekends.
Oh,
yeah. What? Yes. So I was literally going to work, and sometimes during the week I'd go get her and then go to the studio and write stuff, and then they shoot it in front of me. And so I was just so like, oh, I'm living in this wonderful world. Right. But I was still going to work every day, and it was so bad. So on the weekends I was happy.
Right.
On the weekdays I was crying.
Oh,
it was literally, and then there was one comedy sketch that we had written where the homeless people were going on strike, right? So we had actors in there dressed like bums and things. Well, one of the producers who hadn't come in often didn't know who I was. So I came in on my work day, and she asked if I was playing a bum. That's how bad I was looking and feeling. Oh. And I said, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. Right.
If she's a freaking bum in the scene, I gotta change my life. This is not working. So I went to my job and I said, I can't do this anymore. It's been probably 6 months I went on servicing 3 units. No way. Yes. No, I can't do it. And they were like, no, please, no, we need you. I need me.
Right.
Yeah. I need me more. So I walked away, and I had no idea how it was going to work, because that was just one isolated incident that just kind of, I feel like, fell into my lap. But I never went back. I've not worked since then. And I am so happy.
That's great.
That's
great. I love it. Man. You want to take a look? No, I was just saying, when you were talking, ladies, when all of you were talking, it reminded me of that question that oftentimes pastors or clergymen will ask is, we need to find our purpose, right? And so I think that's hard sometimes. It's hard to figure that out. And I'm interested in knowing, do you feel you found your purpose? And how can you encourage others? Like, where did you find it? Or how does someone tap into that? I heard it in your story when you said that God or the universe or whatever you believe in kind of aligns things for you. But I don't
I don't know if you feel you found your purpose, or how do we get people to begin to think that everyone has a purpose, right? As we're here.
I think. Go ahead. I just finished.
I feel like when how everybody has been expressing how when they work, and that when you're depressed and you're going to something that you don't enjoy doing, and you know that you don't enjoy doing it, but you also have that thrive of I have to work, I got to get it done, and stuff like that. What exactly was I saying? Oh, that's when you find your purpose, because you feel like I can't do this. I got to do something for me. Something that makes, when I do it, I feel happy. You get what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do the work just to get it done. You want to do the work, and at the same time, you want to do something that you love. Not something for somebody else and what they love, for their company. So I feel like once you find something that you enjoy doing, that brings more peace than doing something that you have to do.
Right.
And you can kind of differentiate your purpose when you are searching for peace. Once you had enough, trust me, you're going to find where your peace is, because enough is enough.
Right.
Enough is enough. We're having some great times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna go on what she said. I think a person can find their purpose when they feel like full inside. Like I was very, very scared to start an agency, and then it's just weird, like the businesses that come after that. I empower like young girls to do entrepreneurship through selling. I basically am like, it's called Filters by Naomi. Naomi's my 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I was gonna name my daughter Naomi.
Yeah.
I went with Nyla. But Naomi is like, I love that.
I like Nyla too.
Nyla's like, I'm so happy you went with the Nyla.
But yeah, like when Filters by Naomi was born this year, I knew that I found my purpose, because these little girls, it's basically like an Avon. Like anyone is, all the girls are a filter, and it can grow. We have girls in Switzerland, girls in Africa, and they sell the product, the all natural products. They make their 40% on their products.
Oh, that's
and
so cute.
they got their own little business. They walked LA Fashion Week, Fashion Fest just this weekend, and they just feel like, you know, I don't know, it's nothing about me. It's not even about my daughter. Like, I just couldn't name it Filters legally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have just named it Filters if I could. But these little girls, like, they love me, and that fills me up more than anything. And I think that's when you know, like, oh my God, this is my purpose. Like, I feel like I'm walking on clouds.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How old are the kids in this?
They range from 2 years old. Serenity's our youngest.
I would die.
To 15, 16.
They're like little entrepreneurs already. Yeah. Like,
Changing
move
the game.
over, Girl Scouts.
Right. That is beautiful.
It's very fun, very rewarding, I can say.
Ashley, did you have a comment you wanted to share with us?
Yes. I just wanted to say I'm still in my journey of finding my purpose. But for anyone that's listening, I would want to tell them I'm just realizing that it's okay. And for me, I found my peace in identifying that my purpose is not going to come from me and my own ideas. It's going to come from God.
Amen.
And if you start praying that you would like to fulfill whatever purpose He has for you on this earth, then opportunities will start arising that you never even dreamed of. And so by staying open, not feeling bad about it, but just keeping a clear ear, listening, saying yes to everything, it'll come to you. Because that was one of the main sources of my depression. I'm like, I'm about to be in my mid-30s and I have no idea what I'm doing. I just have all these degrees for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's like I had to be okay with my timing, the timing, His timing, and being open to things. But it's okay if you don't know what your purpose is. Just start by being open. Start by searching for opportunities. And start by doing the things that you love again. Whether that means going to the movies, even if that means something that doesn't make any practical sense to you in it.
Right.
And it's okay. That's just really what I have to say.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, that is beautiful. Definitely.
I would say that I think to find your purpose, number one, you have to. It's not about you. It's never going to be just about you. Your purpose is never just about you. I think about how different everyone is, and everyone has this burning desire to do something, right? Some people try it, some people are too fearful. I think that purpose is connected to that thing, because everybody doesn't want to be a rocket scientist or a teacher or a filmmaker, or there's something inside of you that was God-given.
Right.
So I think if you tap into that, then you will start to find your purpose, and don't focus on success as much as I always say. Sure, I'd like to be successful, but I'd rather be significant.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I thought it was, acting because I want to act, and but how is that? That's not a purpose. I could be famous, and then I started writing, and I was like, what is it? What is it? But in everything that I've ever done, there's been influence. So for me, it's just like, live your life, be a good person, and children are always, I'm just always surrounded by children. So I'm like, I have to be a positive influence to them because they are watching me. So in everything that I do, if I'm acting, if I'm writing, if I'm directing, the things that I'm writing has to have a message that will positively influence the audience.
Absolutely.
Even doing stuff like this, like you never know, the words that are coming out of your mouth could save someone's life, just by sharing your story. So I think to find your purpose, you just gotta live your life, go after that burning desire that's inside of you, and you're gonna have to go through some things.
Yes.
It's never gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be pretty. When I come back, I'll share like my whole story. I've been through some stuff, but some incredible things have happened too from that. And if I hadn't gone through the crap, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Right.
So to the people that are listening, if you're going through hell, that's a good thing. You have to keep going.
True.
Because you come out of it a better person.
You do. I'm thinking about wabi-sabi, Lori. Remember the Japanese terminology about finding the beauty in the scars. So, whatever we go through, we want to try to, I kind of take it from the word and say, count it all joy, if you will. But when you're going through the storm, honest to God, it just don't feel good at all. I'm not even going to fake the fun. It hurts. It's so bad.
It doesn't. This is one thing that I
so
always think about when I'm going, like when I'm down. To me, life is a roller coaster. It's like this. So if you're down here, just keep holding on. You're going to be up here in a minute.
Yeah.
But you can count on coming down again.
That's
but that's
true.
just life. You go through. So when you get up, freaking enjoy it. Enjoy it to the fullest. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Because, you're going to come down. But don't trip, because there's a big one, that'll put you on the top, around the corner. Just ride the roller coaster.
And I think it's important. I don't know what you ladies feel, is that we have to change. You mentioned the word success, right? And I think that we have to change the definition of that.
Very true.
Right? Living in America, it tends to be believe that success is equated to things that are monetary, right? However much money you have, how much real estate you have, or how many diamonds you own, that those things equate to success, right? And oftentimes that creates depression for individuals, doesn't it? Because I don't have that many diamonds. Or I don't have that much real estate. And, for us, we may never get into the real estate game if we don't understand the intricacies of that. But I think if we do what you say, we celebrate all of the achievements, right? No matter how small, it's all success. When I was doing my graduate degree, we looked at a study that looked at definitions of success, right? And so I think those are fluid, because if you grew up homeless on Skid Row and you managed to become the manager at Rite Aid. That's a hell of a success story,
Right,
isn't it?
yeah.
Right.
Heck yeah.
Now, if you were born in, Beverly Hills, and you always had things monetary available to you, and you grow up and become the manager of Rite Aid, maybe that's not success. But we have to look at our starting point of where we begin, right, to kind of define those. So I think that helps us key into our purpose, right? Or minimally make us feel good about who we are. So it provides some clarity, right? And the ability to slow down. I don't know for you ladies, but for me, life can be so busy, and you can be running so fast, working for somebody else, right? Or trying to find, why do I have all these degrees and what do they mean, that we don't slow down to even hear that small voice of God, or that small voice of whatever your faith dictates. To know, am I on the right path, right? Am I journeying in the right direction? Or do I even like this? Have you ever found yourself just so exhausted? You don't know if you like what you're doing or not.
Yes, for sure. I think for me, just you bringing up the term success, someone that I loved very much, that I was extremely close to, when we went through our breakup, asked me, what do you have to offer after 7 years? And at that moment, immediately I felt insecure, right? It's like, well, I'm listing materialistic things. Well, I rent out my own apartment. I have a car. I have a job, And then I had gotten to a point where I stopped, and I'm like, why am I explaining this stuff? Why am I explaining this stuff as my worth?
There you go.
And then not only that, but I thought you loved me enough to be my partner for the rest of my life. Is this all that you see of me? At what point did you lose hope in me? And in that very moment, knowing that I was really insecure about that stuff anyway, I just told him to leave, like forever. Like I found my strength in questioning what my success was. But I think that moving forward, I also realized that you can be as successful as you want to be. It could all be taken away from you the next day.
True.
So when you think about success, if you're following somebody because of what they have, you're never going to get to the place where you think that they're at. And so from a moral standpoint, following people that are successful in helping others in any way that means is going to be more helpful to you for the stretch of time that you need it to be. But yeah, success is a tricky word that used to make me very upset. Since kindergarten, I didn't know what I wanted to be. And they'd be like, what do you want to be? I'm like, a doctor. No, wait, astronaut. Hold on now. Actor, doctor, nurse, surgeon, friend. Like, what? I've always been like that. It's not new. It's a part of my personality. And then just realizing you can like more than one thing.
There you go.
You can stretch yourself more ways. You have many talents. There's many things I can pull out of a hat. You know what I mean? If somebody need me to rap, I can bars. Serious bars. If I needed to write for somebody, it would be like, wow. You know what I mean? But like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think people should be careful about who they are idolizing. And it may not seem like idolizing, even admiring. What do you like them for? Because if it's their house, their car, their husband that looks like he's a GQ model, all these things, that all could be taken away from them. And then what do you think about that?
Right. And even like now, because I always go back to social media, half that is not even real.
No, it's not.
Lord, her husband looks like a GQ model, but he might, or or he might be cheating, or he might be hitting her. The cars might not even be there.
It's not. It's not. I mean, our brother, who we love dearly, rest in peace. Okay, he died way too young. But this brother here, which I love with my whole heart, he would stay at my house, and then he'd stay with our sister in Atlanta. right? And then he'd stay with my sister here, right? He's really our cousin, but we don't have a brother, so we adopted him as a brother, and we grew up that way. So he posting, girl, on Instagram and so Facebook. He in these nice 5-bedroom homes, 6-bedroom homes, Benzes, all this other stuff, right? I just put up the Christmas decorations, and it looks like Macy's window, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he trying to get with this girl, and she like, well, okay, homie, fly me in, right?
Because she sees.
Because she seeing all the stuff, right? And he in a different spot. I'm telling you, through Christmas, he everywhere. He like, I don't have no money to fly. She like, why she asking me for some money? I don't even know why. You don't know why. He like, my disability check ain't even came. I'm like, dude, okay, they don't know you on disability because you living in 3 households, okay?
Yeah.
So that stuff ain't real, girl.
It's not. It's very much so not.
And this is why you always say the reality of social media is what you make it, is what you perceive it to be. You can make whatever reality you want. This is your literal, in Marvel terms, your own reality stone.
Yep.
You are very true. Very
People
Facts.
only get to know what you want them to know.
right.
Yeah.
You can
And that's the
create whatever
thing.
kind
No
of way
one's
you
going to
want.
go online and really post their depression. No one's going to go online and say, "Oh, I'm past due on my bills." They're going to go online and
Preach,
post
sis.
the sunshine. They're not
Go
going
on,
to post
Nene.
the rain.
Tell it like it is.
So
There you go.
when you looking at those people, you don't know if they're depressed. You don't know what they had to go through to get there, and you don't know what they're still doing to maintain where they're at. So when you're looking on social media for, I say, confirmation or some type of competition, it's all an illusion. It is because them people that have 1 million followers may not have one friend.
That part.
And you may have
You said the word
thousands, you
right
may
there.
have 500 followers, and 250 of those are true
truly your
friends.
friends, right.
So it's never the social media thing is all a facade. And I feel like the younger generation is really taking heed to social media and trying to keep that up. And that's what I don't want my kids to adapt to. I don't want them to think that it's competitive. I want them to know that it's within you. Whatever you want to be, whatever you love, and whatever you're doing with your life, don't compare it to no one else's, because your journey is totally different from somebody else's. You don't know their starting point, their end point. You don't know nothing. So it's not a race.
Absolutely. I want to piggyback on social media, if we can, and the power of social media and which directions they can go. So I just wanted to ask Felicia, I want to just what is your overall synopsis of social media and how it has impacted your space?
Wow. It's insane. I was actually going to share a story about kids and social media and the pressure. My son's friend had committed suicide. She's a bit famous on TikTok, and she just gets messages every day. You're ugly without your makeup. You suck. You're whack. You're this. You're that. And my son has a lot of TikTok friends, and my son deals with depression as well. That is my main goal, because I see myself in that. I grew up very self-conscious. I was the only darker skin, dark tone in my family. All my mom's sides are, my mother's side of the family, they're very light skinned, and it's always like, get out the sun,
Really?
Yeah. Everybody in my family is always just like, ugh. Now I'm beautiful though.
Yes.
But that's why I dedicated my life to finding these kids on social media. This is one of our filtered girls, Violet, and
beautiful.
She put self-confidence is the best filter. And when I see this, like my girls posting and encouraging others, they have conversations on social media with other girls that are going through what they're going through. I know, like, I can see that filters is going to just blow up, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, not everybody's going to be Ariana Grande, Kim Kardashian,
Right.
and
they ain't real.
exactly.
That part right there, sis.
I show them pictures of even me, and I'm pretty sure you can attest, probably all of you, because you all have done some acting. They're like, oh my God, that was you. And I'm like, yes, I'm not 5'9", I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
And no, like all that makeup and anyone can do that, but
Yeah.
this is me. And she said it the best. This little girl, self-confidence is the best filter, and that's my mission, to make sure all these girls. I get so many messages in my inbox from little girls, from grown women, from just all kind of people that are just going through it because they feel like, you know, they look better as that filter than their regular self, and it's insane.
Wow.
It's really it's deep. Yeah.
Well, kudos to you for creating something like that.
Yes.
So needed.
That is so needed.
Thank you.
Speaking about knowing those purpose, right? You see what I'm saying? That's definitely finding your purpose and finding you. But one thing that I just want to say, and I've been silent because I'm being silent because I'm listening and absorbing. But one of the things that I just kind of wanted to mention, and I'm going to move this camera out the way from the camera in front of me, is the courage that it takes to talk about like the soft spots, right? You know what I'm saying, Sissy? You know, we get into some really intense subjects here sometimes, but I just wanted to just say that sometimes, kind of piggybacking on the wabi-sabi concept of finding the beauty in the storm. I know sometimes how you were saying, Chloe, that when you're going through that nightmare, through that trial and that tribulation, like, it's actually a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because you're being tested and you're being tempered, and it's like the diamond that's being pressed and pressed and pressed. But during that journey, I think it just takes a great deal of courage and motivation to want to talk about what's hurting us, to want to talk about if we're sad, to want to talk about when we're depressed, to want to be able to open up about that. And I think it's extremely important because not enough of us do that, and we end up, I just know for myself, who have dealt with some, you know, depression and anxiety throughout, sometimes you kind of can get trapped in your own space, if you will, you know what I'm saying, can get trapped in your own mind and kind of get trapped in your own thoughts and thinking that you're kind of alone. Sissy is always really good at helping mold the conversation or making me think, rethink it, and not kind of run with that idea. And the only reason why I'm going there is because, you know, Ashley, you kind of talked a little bit about it, and you talked, you know, and I know it has to be something that's on your spirit to be able to talk about how when you were feeling down and when you're depression and moving through that. And I just kind of resonate with that because I've been there, and I kind of go back there a lot, because for me it's just been an ongoing thing, and sometimes it's cyclical, like what you were saying, piggybacking on you, Chloe. It's that life roller coaster. And one thing we're guaranteed is we're going to have some peaks and we're going to have some valleys. But one of the things that I think is most important is what do we do during those peaks and valleys, and how we can come out of it a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Poetry of Justice show here, we've been doing it 5 years, like Sissy says. We talked about it, but it has been, sometimes my sister asked me, ladies, about 3 shows ago, she flipped the script. It was our anniversary show. It was our 5-year anniversary show, and I think I'm so used to asking questions, I don't really receive them. And her and Lord Rocca flipped the script on me and was like, so what are some of your most memorable moments? I'm like, oh, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, what are some of your most memorable moments? But when I had to think of that, the year 2019, Lori and I drove this show like, you know what I'm saying? We came from the little studio in the back, we came to the big studio over here, and this is like a major big deal for us. But the one thing that the Poetry of Justice show has done for me, when Sissy says most memorable moments, is therapy for me. It's therapy for me, because the shows that we bring here, I'll be honest with you, I've been able to hide behind some of those shows. Lori could tell you in the early years some of the topics, things that I was actually going through personally, but didn't want to say, couldn't say, but needed the outlet, right? And so the Poetry of Justice show allowed me to do that. So I'm just saying it again, beautiful queen, for you to be able to come here and feel comfortable enough to just mention a little bit of it, because sometimes we don't talk about it, and most of the times we don't talk about it, and I think it's just organic. I think it's natural. We are in an impure, contaminated world, and so how are we supposed, particularly right now with COVID and the pandemic and the new strands that's coming out and variants and so on and so forth, I just think that we owe it to ourselves to keep this queendom right together and support one another as best we can. And if one thing that COVID taught us, I'm gonna be 100 with it, I haven't gone out and started a new career in terms of, I'm an entrepreneur now. I don't know if I'm still brainwashed, but right now I'm still in that, like you were saying with your baby, I got to make this money, I got to do this. But your mind is always on something different, right? And so you come homegrown and it's like, okay, I know I got to pay these bills and I like to eat, so okay, I'm gonna do that. But here's what's my art, what's my passion? You know what I'm saying? Where do I get my most fulfillment?
Right.
And this definitely the Poetry of Justice show has been able to do that, so in a big way. And I just want to thank all of you beautiful queens for being here with us tonight and sharing your stories and not being afraid, you know what I'm saying? To talk about it. So I really appreciate it. So I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, but that's what the spirit led me. So.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Thank you so
and
much.
then too, I think it's okay to not be on social media.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Say that like it's okay.
Yeah,
Let
it's
me just
okay.
clear the air.
Like, I am just getting back on social media this summer after 4 years.
Wow, girl.
Not opening it.
See?
Not doing anything.
Ashley is
and I didn't want to.
me.
And it was only because I just felt like I just couldn't hear.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear good advice. I couldn't stop comparing myself. I didn't have a desire to want to go on any either. I'm so happy to have been, in college when smartphones were coming out when I was a junior. That just showed my age, but smartphones are not a part of my childhood, let alone my young adulthood. So lucky about that, so happy. I would have been crazy. But, jumping into that and then, having such a wonderful alumni, it's hard to not compare yourself. And it's pretty much impossible for you to not be basically bombarded with other people's ideas of what you should be when you're on there. I don't care if you're the strongest person in the world. Unless you're just on there posting and you get off, it is difficult to keep your mind right. And also make sure not only that you take a break from social media, but really assess the people around you. Because the person that I thought loved me the most had zero hope in my future. And it wasn't because he was saying it. It wasn't because he was verbally abusive. It wasn't because there was any, domestic violence issues within there. But it can be as simple as somebody doubting you.
Yes.
Your human mind, your body, your soul, it can take on people's vibrations. It's really real.
Yeah.
And if somebody can be like, good job, I can't wait to see what you do next. There's something to that. They can really mean that, or they can be being like, she ain't gonna do it, she ain't gonna make it.
Right.
These social cues that aren't just in, the verbal things that people are saying from you, but just their actions, their body language. It can keep triggering you and making you feel like, how do I get out of this? Why is it there? Really take a look, because once you start looking at people, and if they're saying they're supporting you and they're never showing up, you need to take a look. And it doesn't mean, burning bridges and not loving them anymore. They're doing that because they feel that way about themselves.
Right.
So it's nothing personal.
But believe them when they show you
Who
the first
time.
Because it's not your
I
job.
learned my
It's not your job to fix them.
That part.
Very much
It's
so.
not your job. It's not your job
It's
to
not.
fix them, and it's not your job to convince them, and it's not your job for you to convince anybody of anything at any time. So really look at your best friend. Really look at your boyfriend. Really look at your fiance. Really look at your mother. Sometimes it be your own. You know what I mean? Sometimes you be your own mom, and that doesn't mean that they are not worthy. That doesn't mean that they are not wonderful people in the scope of things, because nobody's perfect.
But Ashley,
You
look
know?
at them ladies, but don't create the narrative.
No.
Because we do that, right?
that's
As
true.
women, we rationalize.
Oh, we
We
figured that thing out.
she
Might be
only said she my best friend. She only said that because she have a headache, or it's that time of the month. She didn't really mean that.
Yeah.
Right? But the signs are there. They telling you. They showing you. But we create a narrative that
Excuse
we
me. Yeah.
can live with, not the reality of what's happening around us. And I think those comments are so very accurate and real. And I think as women, we've got to hear that. I don't know, has anyone else ever felt rationalizing something that in your spirit just ain't right? I'm gonna rationalize it. I know this man need a job, but I'm gonna rationalize why you don't have one. Right? We do that. I mean, I've been there. Definitely, ladies. I tell you. But that leads me to this question about how
how do we as women, and you as women of entrepreneurial pathways, go about finding that self-confidence when you have all these external factors, social media, other business owners, because entrepreneurship is like an exclusive club, isn't it? And you don't oftentimes find people say, hey, come on, let me help you, let me help you, come on and make money like me, right? That innately sometimes people want to keep you out of that club. So where do you find that self-confidence?
That's the thing. I believe that you don't find it.
You don't
It's
find
in
it.
you.
Sorry.
And it's about bringing it out. That's the thing. You're never going to find anything. There's never, you can't just go somewhere and find something or expect something to be given to you. That's the thing. I think that's where we lack in our minds, because we're searching for something, and we're searching for someone to give us a bone. We're searching for someone to lead us. We're searching for that. It's not there. It's within you. You have to soul search. Once you find in your soul what you're comfortable with, and you figure that out within yourself, it will come out. And it will also come out, and like they say, the people around you plays a major part in that. Because when you finding yourself and you have the wrong people around you, you will think twice in stepping forward. Or you'll think twice, like, oh, your little business. It's like, oh, I seen you have your little business.
That little,
and it's like,
that little.
It's like, excuse me, you know. I mean, my fresh business, you know, my new business, but it's about I don't think you're ever going to find it, and I think that's where we are all misguided at. Because I used to look for that, like, I need to find what I, you know, like how I'm going to find it. I'm searching when it was in me the whole time. And I just needed to search within myself and bring that out and conquer it. Exactly. Not caring about the competition, the social media, everything that's going on, the relationship. Trust me, I'm fresh out of a 7-year relationship. But sometimes you need that self searching to bring it out. You have to, it's in you. You're never going to find it. Yeah.
Now, Chloe, you had such a reaction while Nene was talking. I know you got something to say.
She hit a nerve when she said
tell.
little.
It just rolls off the inside.
I had a friend that would always, I seen your little commercial. I seen your little, I don't be like,
my nice commercial.
Little, why does it have to be
little? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was little. I was a little boy, but still.
Like, my man, you ain't.
Yeah. It was big to me.
There you go, right?
I was just like, seen your big day.
Because I had other friends that would, like, for me, I'm like always focusing on what's next.
Yeah.
I know what I want my life to look like, and then I'm not there, so I'm always like
ready to go.
Oh, what can I do next? What's my plan? And so I had a small, like, I said 2 words on something, and I was, you know, I knew what I had done. I had friends who knew that I was gonna have a speaking role, but I was just like beating myself up because I just felt like it wasn't enough, because it's not what I want. I'm not there yet. But they like sent me a video of them watching it, and I said, "Hey, Nelly," on TV, and they were like, "Exactly, they went crazy."
Exactly.
I was like, I did a good. Yeah, that was good, because nobody else I know is on TV, so this is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I need to celebrate it. So every now and then, I just kind of have to pick myself up, and like you said, like, take a look at who's around me and listen. Like you said, what are they saying? And pick up on those little, you know, notes. Where they will show, because they'll show you.
Once they show you, bring like what she said.
Right.
Yeah. Once they show you, believe them.
There's the door.
Believe them.
Keep it moving smooth.
Because if you don't believe them, trust me, they'll show you
come back.
over and over and over again until you get it.
Yeah. I started calling that from one friend. I started calling her out. Why did you call that little?
Yeah.
Why
Good for you.
Yeah. I said you have a habit of calling things little. You know. When you reach whatever goal that you set for yourself, you wouldn't want me to call it little.
Little, yeah.
So she made an adjustment. I mean, I haven't really talked to her in a while, but
there you go.
When my next commercial goes, we'll see if she says your little commercial, or if she's like, good job.
That little Oscar award.
No,
You call her up. Girl, look, you know what? I just got that little Oscar. I'm sitting right over here. Do you want to come over for coffee, girl? And shine it with me, girl.
I'm going to do that.
Put some respect on
Just
that.
going to do a little polishing here on my Oscar.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. Y'all got me in here screaming.
I just wanted to say real
Go ahead.
quick. For me, it was quite the opposite. Everybody believed in me, and I got tired of people leaving my life because they believe in me, but I don't believe in me. And probably like 5 years ago, my friend's husband, he was like, Felicia, you've been my friend since we were 20 years old. We're going on 40. He's like, I'm a millionaire. He's like, but you're a billionaire. I said, what? He's like, you got it. Like, why do you keep doubting yourself? Like, and I just thought about like all my successful friends, and I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what is it? Like, everyone sees it except for me. And that's when I realized you gotta live for yourself. Like, you just gotta do what you want to do, and no matter who's in your life that you love, because I'm just a huge lover. Like, I'll sacrifice for everybody. I've always been that way, and I was just like, you got to do what makes you happy. Screw it. I mean, even your kids, like, they have to come behind you. Like, you have to do it for yourself, and you are doing it for them when you're doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's when that switch hit for me. Yeah, it's very weird. Very weird.
That's interesting to hear that so many people saw it in you, and you were just like,
Yeah.
what? And but fear can do that.
Yeah.
Fear. There you go.
Yeah,
will do it.
The
It
fear
does do
of like the unknown. I don't know how to do this,
Right.
or you
I
feel
don't
like
have the
you
higher
don't.
education, so I'm
But
just
it
gonna
really
play
doesn't
dumb
take all that
and-
all the time. Because I
Yeah.
experienced that too, where I'm like, because I wrote, directed, produced, put myself in as a supporting role, a film that I just wanted to do a different type of character because I'd been getting the same types of things. So I was like, I'm gonna write my own and show people I can act, and I don't have to be pretty. I made myself not pretty, you know. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna bring the ugly and show y'all, you know. And then the film got all these awards, so now everybody's like, she's a writer, she's a director, and I was like, I just did it that one time. They were like, you won an award. No, you are a writer. You are a director. You are a producer. And I was like, well, maybe I can do it again. Then I just kept doing it. But every time I did it, I believed it more. Now I'm like, oh, I see what they were talking about.
Right.
I do. You have it in you already. Like you said earlier, it's up to you to pull it out. You know. And I think something that we do all the time, or oftentimes, is we look outside of ourselves for the answers.
Exactly.
And it's hard.
It's in you. Yeah.
If you sit with yourself, deal with, like, talk to yourself. It ain't crazy. It's okay. Talk to yourself. Because, and I just truly believe, like, God he's omnipresent, which means he's here. We're connected. So talking to you is talking to God. And God has the answers. So,
Lori, when I was listening to Chloe's story, I was thinking about you and your directorial debut with Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, Gigi Productions and Entertainment Company. I want you to maybe share your experience and how that landed in your lap in that same scenario, similar scenario.
You know, guys, that did land in my lap, and I never viewed myself as a director. I'm usually the finance person. Right? I'm Lori G the benefactor. I'm Lori G the benefactor.